Welcome back, everybody. It is Friday. Thankfully, we've lived through the week. This will be a bit of a different video. And first and foremost, Dead Animal, it's glad to see you back online. This is a gentleman I talk about that played ground amazingly well. Just got nukes like he was bored. He's like, all right, I'm going to go get, 11 kills in my leopard, like there's no tomorrow. Hit me up if you see this man. Glad to see you back. He's been off for a long time, so hopefully he's doing well. Good dude. Very good dude. Amazing at ground, terrible at air. Never bring him in air. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. So, today we're going to talk about grinding setups. And unfortunately, this does involve premiums. So, and maybe it's somebody that doesn't have premiums thinking of something to do. We're going to do both ground and air. Some of these I don't have ground forces for, specifically Italy and France. Italy have some lower tier stuff for kicks and giggles. Let's start from right to left because this is easier right to left. Smaller countries. First and foremost, the most broken way to grind air besides the Milan, Kafir Canard. You take 5 1,000-pound bombs, full fuel, rush to a base, drop your bombs. I think I'm at like 600 games in this thing, and when I need Silver Alliance, what I go to. And in just general passing, this is how far I've made it through the tree. Granted, I have like the what? The Sahara, and was the other A4. A4 early, but hey, we got it. Here's a premium. So if you're grinding Israel Air, the Canard. This is like the easy mode. You can literally sit down, and if you sweaty play this for like 2 days straight, you'll have the entire air tree, and probably more. And you'll probably have like, at least 10 or 15 million SL left over from grinding this. Generally, before you even reach the end of a jet. All right, this costs 1,080,000, and there's no way I'm going to have 1 million by the time well, no, I might. Basically, every time you get a jet, especially from here on out, you'll have a little over 1 million SL. And when I say more, if you want to crew these, you'll have the SL for that. A4E early used to be all that we had. F84 came later. Don't buy this. It's terrible. For kicks and giggles, there's a version of this Spitfire in, was it the Russian? Excuse me. There's a Russian one. I think there's a USA one. And there's an Israeli one. There might be more than that, just so I can think off the top of my head. We're going to move kind of quick. Excuse me. The trees up here are trying to kill me. I didn't have allergies, so I moved here. Damn it. Okay, enough of that. Kafir Canard. I will say this is hands down the best jet to get. You can still fight with as a fighter. You get 2 crap missiles. Your guns are kind of, well, if you played any of the earlier MiGs, like MiG-19s and 15s, you'll understand. Call them water guns. You need to use invert aiming on it. Set out to whatever distance you like. Mostly, you go for bases. 5 1,000-pound bombs, drop all. You can typically get a base, some kills, sometimes 2 bases. For ground, on the other hand, you are limited to a handful. You can go with the Markava 2D, and I'd suggest that and researching the Magok 6B, because these are just nasty. The Shokat, or the Shot Cal, it's decent. It's at a very good BR, though, so if you want to play 9.3, right now everything in the 9.0 area is getting sucked up into the 10.0 black hole that is premiums, unfortunately. Do not suggest the Ram Seagal. It's a decent tank. It plays exactly like the Merkava 2D in my experience. I really don't feel any different than the Merkava 2D. Merkava Mark 2D, great little tank. It's quick. It has no armor, just like the Ram Seagal. But it's workable, and it's really all they have at top tiers to grind. I think it's just slightly faster than the Ram Seagal. You could go a little bit lower if you want it. Get the Shokat. Sorry, that's the British one. The Shot Cow. Or the Magok 3. Whichever floats your boat. Whatever. This is probably the best BR you can get for kind of high tier. Sure, you're going to see a little bit of the higher end stuff, but more than likely you're going to stay in the 8.0 area. It's my new fun place to be is the 8.0-ish BR. 9.0 to 8.0, give or take. That's really all I have for Israel. Sweden, if you want to derp around and have some fun, when this thing comes on sale, grab it. It's an auto loader, and it's kind of broken right now. It's when your ready rack is done shooting, you can still shoot. It's buggy, so. And you get a Sherman 3. That's lower tier fun stuff. For top tier, no, I don't have the Christian 2. I don't plan on getting it. I've already got the Leopard, was it 1, 2, 3, and the other one. For grinding, the CV901 is amazing. It has a 5-second auto loader now. I think this used to be 6.5 and they buffed it to 5 seconds. I'm getting killed with this thing at 11.3. I mean, it's got a decent round, 400 millimeters of pin. Yeah, insanely good. and say, hey, I don't like 10.0. There's too many premiums up here. There's too many terms. There's too many 2S38s. Go down and get yourself a Leopard A15. Basically the same thing as well, the Leopard A1A1 over there in Germany. Very good tank. And if you really want to have fun while you're grinding, remember, premiums can grind very well what's below them and one rank above them. I would suggest just get these two. The Vidar, which is broken as all get out. I may not do well with it. When I first got it, I was picking up 3 kills a match with him. That's amazing for me as a ground player. So, I suggest the Vidar and either one of these. STRV 103. It's very weird to aim, very buggy, but when it works, oh, does it work. It also has a great complement to ground pound with. The SAB 105G. I love this thing. It it's good in ground. I'll put it that way. Air, it's kind of meh, but that's enough for ground. If you really want to grind top tier stuff, I would suggest this BR here, your 9.3 and lower. Here you're going to be in 10.0 black hole of premiums, fortunately. You're going to see up tiers 11.0 because there's a ton more Type 90 Fujis and Ram Segals. So now we're getting more up tiers than we had before. The 901 is an amazing tank. It's fast. Look at that, 70 miles per hour. Has almost no armor, but I've been killed by this thing more times I like to admit than any of my other tanks, especially with the buff to reload right now, because the top tier, it's who shoots first and who shoots fast. That's the only way to put it. You can pick up the Christian 2. That .3 BR is going to go from, hey, I have a normal game, which will be 10.0, to I'm completely up tiered to 11.3. We're not going to do too great. I think it's got a better round than that. Let's take a look. I think it gets a 460 pin round. Okay, 401. Not terrible, not great. It does slap, put it that way. Very fast tank. Speed is key. For air, I don't like the choices. I didn't have fun with the J35. I had to go brain dead to play this, and not in a good way. So I had to rocket bases, and hopefully get a kill or two with the missiles. Most of the time I was rocketing a base, if I can make it there first. It says it's 2250 kilometers an hour. Yeah, with nothing on it. It's still manageable. I know people are going to jump all over me about it. I'm not good in it. I put myself through tons of crap last weekend to get the J. I got the Gripen. I'm going to quit pronouncing stuff. I love the Gripen. It's worth the grind if you put yourself through it. And it's a very small tree, and as you can see, working towards the Gripen, I've only got 2 jets left, so it's like Mizraeli tree. I don't think they sell the J35 anymore. 35A. It used to be Golden Eagles. This was an amazing aircraft back when it had tracers. Then they removed tracers, and the rest is history. It was almost unusable because you relied on your guns. Still a very fun aircraft if you have it. We're going to go through these kind of quick, so sorry if I'm rushing. If you're going to grind air, J35X. If you're going to grind ground, I highly suggest Vidar STRV. And this will get you grinded all the way through rank 6. Rank 7, I highly suggest the 901 if you want to pick up both 901 and the Christian 2. But I suggest this just for the simplicity that when you get a down tier, you're going to wreck house. When you get up tier, you may not do that well, but you can still get kills. A lot better than being up tiered in the Christian 2. But that's my 2 cents. France, I have nothing for ground really. I have the Soma SM back when it was 7.0 with an autoloader at 4 seconds. It was wonderful. Me and Dead Emily used to run this together. I even picked up the skin for it. Let me see here. I'll show you guys real quick. Yep, that's it. I love that skin right there. It's so cool. Really broken for something for France, besides the EBR, which is even more broken. But they moved up to 7.7, which was needed. It got the mouse treatment. So, let's go back to grinding. I don't have any of these. I can't tell you how good they are. I can tell you I see more AMX 30s than I do the VBCIs. If I remember correctly, I don't think this even gets stabilized sights on it. I don't know, so I can't tell you there, but I do see people playing a lot of this. I still think the 8.0 area would be better. So maybe the AMX 30. Personal opinion. And the Soma SM still kicks even when it gets up tiered. I mean, it is nasty. I mean, I have the pin, but who cares when you're shooting around every 4 seconds? You know? Aviation, they actually have some really good stuff. Now, we're looking more towards top tier stuff. They had some changes to the flight model in the Mirage F1C. It was wonderful. They added rockets to it. Because I don't remember having rockets when I first played it, or I just ignored them. This is, if I'm grinding, I'm going to go bombing bases. If I'm really tired of everybody else hitting bases for me, I'm going to rocket bases. And you still get 2 Magic 2s, which have been buffed out the butt here recently. So think about it this way. You get 2 free guaranteed kills. You can get some ground targets. You can hit some bases. And also, you just have a buttload of flares and chaff. Look at that. Countermeasures 252, split them in half. You can go about half the game just with your countermeasure set to once every 2 seconds. And believe me, it works. It does work. There's not much else. You got the Jaguar E. It's kind of meh. I don't know much about the Mirage 2000 S4. It's 11.7. And it doesn't look like it gets anything. 2 Magic 2s. If somebody has this, tell me you can take more than just 4 missiles. If you can't, then I would avoid this. But I don't have much for the French to say that. Ground pounding, the 84N is actually quite fun. I don't have it, but I've seen people play it. I say it's fun because it has rockets that are very good for that BR. Everything else, man, if you're playing Road Tier, always get your P47 because you get bombs on top of being a relatively good fighter. That's all I really have for the French. Italy, there's 2 choices you can go for air. If you want almost levels of Kafir Canard easiness, I'm going to say get the 104. Why? You can bomb bases, and you still get a Gatling gun, and you get missiles. You can bring radar missiles if you want, but you cannot bring the gun if you do that. I like to run the incendiary bombs. They're a little bit lighter. I don't know. I have to go back and change this around a little bit. But typically 5,000 pounds to knock out a base, which is this one here. I think it's 1,000, 1,000. That's 4,000. Then 2 incendiaries. I could probably change these as regular drop bombs, but who cares? Here we go. 1,000, 1,000, 1,000. There we go. And you still get 4 missiles. Granted, they're AIM-9Ps, but they're workable. You're relatively fast for your BR. You're not the fastest thing anymore, but you are quick. They gave it countermeasures, so you have 60 of them, 30 and 30 if you split it. It's a good jet. It's not the old pencil tear it was, but it works. What other choice do you have? The Ariat. This is a dogfighter. No missiles. You are at 9.3. You will see 10.3, and you will see down to 8. And the cat is meowing at me even though he just got 2 scoops of food. This is why I don't have a Park Maine Coon cat. They're always hungry. I love him though. Gus, Gus. Come here, buddy. I'll get you some treats in a minute. The Ariat, it is a dogfighter through and through. It has 2 motors. So there's one in the front and one in the rear. So if you lose one, you can still fly. You do need an expert crew or you will black out on the slightest turns. Pulls G's very hard. It's great for taking out A10s and Su-25s. You have no flares. That is the downfall. Very good. And if you like playing a little bit of the lower area, the G91s are wonderful. I still take out the German one because it has the better skin. Sorry, Italy, it just looks good. You get 4 missiles. They kind of suck, but they're workable. You do get Nords for ground targets. AIM-9Bs. Get behind somebody, hope they're flying straight, not paying attention. And you get a ton of machine gun ammo. Not much to say there. Army. I have a lot of low tier stuff because it's fun. There's my tank named Simon. Shout out to Simon on that one. I don't have any Italy ground stuff. I've heard the Centauro is relatively good. Haven't heard anything really much about the VRCC or that. I don't have any input. I know I see very little Italy play right now. Every now and then you'll see like an Ariat in top tier, but that's about it. So I unfortunately can't tell you anything about their top tier. Their bottom, their low tier, though, has some very dumb good stuff. At 3.7, you get both a Panzer IV and a Sherman. Top that off with dun, 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 dun. You can either get a Market 104 or 109. Ugh, can't talk. Or better yet, a BF 110 G4. Same as in the tech tree on the German side. Very good ground pounder. That's all I have for Italy. China, mixed bag, very mixed bag. I love the J7D. The J7D is actually quite outclassed by the J7E. And I think it's because it gets better missiles, doesn't it? No, it still gets the same missiles. PL2s, okay. So these are basically Magic 2s right here. These PL5Bs. I think the flight performance ends up being just a lot better, if I remember correctly. You don't have any all-aspect missiles. You do get some countermeasures. You are very fast and you're very agile, which is what makes this thing deadly. I was running mine with PL7s, but I haven't tried out the new PLBs, PL5Bs on them. But look at that, maximum overload 35 Gs, 30. I can't remember if these are actually Magic 2s, the PL7s. They might be. So if somebody can tell me, I haven't played this in a long time. A5C is a wonderful grinder for air. The rest of it, this is really if you just want to play at those tiers. The F5 is decent. Gus, get out the window. Gus, come here, bud. The rest of this is just pretty much for ground pounding. I'd say avoid it for grinding if what your grinding is going for. I think the A5C is perfect because you can also, as you see down here, run it in the 10.0 setup. It's good. I mean, it's chunky. It goes in a straight line fast, does not turn well, but it gets the job done. Very limited on countermeasures, but you can dumb bomb with it. So you can actually hit bases or rocket bases, whichever you prefer. Get 2 kills with it, go back to base, do it all over again. J7D, you play it like a MiG-21 without the all-aspect missiles. Very fast. It is at 11.0, so you have to be careful with your countermeasures, and there's a lot of radar missiles. So I'd say the A5C over the J7D just for pure grinding. On the ground, now that's why I say it's a mixed bag. They had an amazing, I think it was like an 8.0 area setup before they decided to move the WMA 301 up. Gen 3 thermals at 8.0 was hilarious. So it got a full up tier to 9.0 and the Vidar stayed at 8.0. Just think about that for a minute. Very good tanks. The 9.0 setup I think is honestly better because you can technically take, they normally come out with the pack. The pack will include the T62, the T69 2A, and the T69 2G. You can run all 3 of these together, throw in the WMA 301. Perfect for grinding around that BR. You will get sucked up to 10.0 a decent bit, but when you get 9.0 or lower, these things kick hard. And then if you want to research the object, was that the 122? It has rockets on its turret, and they are effective. They can kill by a decent bit, and it's a lot more tanky than it should be, which is kind of weird. The ZTC 96A for grinding, I call it the mini terms, and really it's a terms with less armor, and that goes a little bit faster, backs up like 2 kilometers faster an hour than the terms. You can make it work. It's decent. It's not wonderful. And 10.0 is so full, it's so saturated. I'd kind of avoid it. I think you'd have more fun at 9.0. Guys, top tier and all is cool, but once you get to top tier, you're kind of like, man, this sucks. That's my own personal opinion. I'll eventually do a video on this. I've been grinding out the modifications for it because its performance is based on getting mods, which gets you your night vision or your thermals and your laser rangefinder and warning system. It gets so much better. It has fire and forget missiles. Yeah, kind of like the Tiger Ut or anything else with spike missiles. I think the Vilcus has them and a few other IFVs. Really good. Very light, but we'll skip that. We'll keep on going. Japan, very hard. So before the Type 90 Fuji came out, all you had was the Type 74 and the Type 16. And before that, it was just the 74. Honestly, I would say the 9.3 area is where you want to play at. You get 2 good vehicles, going to net you more kills, especially if that's all you have. It's going to help you grind out a lot quicker. Now, the Type 90 is really good. Even noobs can hop in this thing and collect multiple kills, which will probably see the Type 90 series go up 0.3 BR, unfortunately. As of right now, I think this is probably one of the best top tier grinder tanks you can get if you know what you're doing. I just like to say for the Emperor and charge in and hope I get a kill or 2. That's me. There's not much else to say on it. Type 1 thermals, or Gen 1 thermals in the Type 74 kind of suck. But you do have a suspension system, so you can make peeking over hills a little bit more fun as you go hold down. The Type 16, you can get to the cap first, get you some cap points. Very good cannon. It will kill most things in one hit. If it's up tiered, you may have to aim a little bit better, lower glacial plates, and that's all I really have to say about Japan. The lower tier stuff, not that great. The Chino 2 is amazing. I've heard good things about the Hero prototype, and this is for memes. When you hit somebody, you have to over-pressure them. You're not going to pin them, but there's so many IFVs in the game now. It actually can do quite well. But you take one round to that giant missile rack on top, and you can't shoot anymore. On the air. This is bittersweet because, honestly, the T2 early is the way to grind the tree. Hate to say it. I about quit the game grinding with the F4EJ, so it's a Phantom without the Agile Eagle upgrade. You have a crap radar, so making your radar missiles nearly impossible to use. Had no luck with those. But you do get 4 AIM-9Ps, which, hey, they're not a lot of spec, and you're at 11.0. Best bet is honestly just to rocket bases. Take 4 pods of rockets, that's 2 base worth. I brought the radar missiles for kicks, so if somebody ever went nose up in front of me, I could just look up and shoot at them. And if I was able to make it to a third base, I'd drop the bombs. In all honesty, take the bombs off, just run this loadout like that. T2 early, you've got no bombing sights, you have to dumb bomb with it, but it's extremely fast. It's at a relatively decent BR. There's a lot of premiums around there, there's a lot of new players around there. It works pretty well. I'm still modding out the F5E for Japan. It's rough. It is rough going right now because you're 11.3 in an F5. And this is what I'm using to grind with. So it gets 2 Python 3s, so you get 4 missiles total, some upgraded, and I quote, upgraded AIM-9Ps, because they're all aspect, and then you get 2 Pythons. I really don't think it's worth the 0.3 increase. Could definitely be 11.0, in my opinion. But the way to grind, if you want to go with the Phantom, your mileage may vary. I did not enjoy it. It did give me my F-16. Better yet, you can probably just get the F4EJ and talisman that, because this has a little bit better radar. Loadout's exactly the same. So this right here, the F4EJ Kai, at one point in time was the best Phantom in game. Has a wonderful radar system in it. You lock somebody, they weren't getting away from your radar missiles. A lot of changes have happened since then, but I'll quit wasting everybody's time. We'll keep moving on. So for air, since I no longer sell the T2 early, I'd say the F4EJ. If you're good at dogfighting, then get the F86. It's at a fun BR. You don't have any flares, but you can make it work. I use it as a ground pounder with 2 1,000-pound bombs, so that's my take on it. Britain. What do we have here? I don't have anything on the higher end to grind for Britain. I've given up, kind of like with the American tree. Get the F4EJ, or the F4J Phantom. What I see people killing me with is the radar missiles, because these are the dogfight. So use your head-on radar, lock them as, you know, you're first coming into the engagement, or both teams are meeting, and you can snag yourself 2 kills. I think you do have to equip the gun pod to have any kind of gun, but you get 4 AIM-9Gs, not the best missiles. You got to make them work for yourself. Dogfight missiles, Sky Flash, they've worked really well against me. Put you that way, but your Phantom at that tier 11.3, you can see a lot of F-16s, but you can hit bases with rockets or bombs, which should be doing it for grinding, and go from there. There's no other choice to grind this. Avoid the Harrier if it's still for sale at all cost. Sea Vixen I don't think's for sale anymore. There's nothing else you can really bomb with except the Meteor, and you don't get bomb sights. But you know that's your thing, to make it work. For ground, Challenger DS, it's a great tank. It's at 10.0. It still does relatively well. Pair that with the Khalid or the Ruakat, which I prefer the Ruakat, and you'll have some really good times. I don't have the Challenger 2 OES. I have a friend that does. It's kind of hit or miss for him. You know, I don't think the round's the best, but it's very tanky and it has a thermal blanket, so you're not seeing quite as well. And that's really it for the British ground. Let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and go through it right now. For grinding in Russia, pick up yourself a Terms, pick up yourself a 2S38, call it a day. I wouldn't worry about the Su-25. If there's no SPA out there, you can wreak havoc. And this is using the giant rockets it has. So let's see here. I like to run an extra pod of just regular rockets and then the S250s. You've got a couple of different flavors. You do have some laser guided munitions, but you have to fly straight for them to hit, which is a big no-no at that tier it's at. Too many missiles around. Go through it relatively quick. So, and you have a tech tree 2S, not 2S, yeah, Su-25. So right there you have the same exact thing that you get for premium. If you want a Su-25, just grind it out. Doesn't take that long. And that's honestly what I'd say for ground. I mean, you got a couple other fun things in here. I got some real lower tier stuff because, you know, I'm a butthole. I like to go down there and just play a little bit here and there, you know. So, it's my preset 8. Object 120 is fun. Sit back and snipe and shoot people. Yeah, a little SPA. But, you know, Pick two of these premiums and grind. Honestly, I'd maybe even say the T80 over the terms at this point, but you will survive more in the terms, thus netting you more points. Very slow. It's a sniper, not a brawler. Decently quick. I like to use it as a brawler. It has a 6.5-second reload, whereas the terms has a what? 7.1? Yeah. So you might have more fun in the T80 UD versus the terms. But it's all depending on how you want to grind. This weekend I'm doing heavy grinding in my Russian tree. I plan on getting the T90M by the end of this weekend, so I'm going to lose a lot of sleep. But that's honestly what I can tell you from personal experience as far as how quickly to grind. The 10.0 in Russia is just too good right now. The win rate is decent enough that you'll have a good time and grind kind of quickly, even though ground RP is kind of crap right now. Not even gonna lie. Let's see, for aviation, there's really no other choice than the MiG-23 ML. It's not as good as it once was. You can still do relatively well in it. When this thing first came out, it was top dog. There were no F-16s, and you could pick up an ace with just flying this, 10 games. You get used to the feel of it. Run out there, you get two really good radar missiles, two fire and forget missiles that don't warn the enemy that they've been locked and fired upon, as the T models, and then you get four R60 missiles. So 24Rs work great. The 24Ts I think are wonderful. They're really hilarious when they hit. And then R60Ms. Goes fast, it's very agile. You do have to learn swept wing mechanics, which is not that hard. The only other choice, and this is what I grinded out the majority of the Russian tree with. I don't know if it's for sale anymore. I don't know if it's for Golden Eagles. It's a supersonic bomber, and they actually changed the loadout to where you can kill a base now. 4 incendiary bombs will destroy a base. It's very agile. It's a MiG frame. Might as well say it's a fat MiG-21. It's got some decent cannons on it. There's still that slow fire rate, and those, the bullet drop is really weird. But I think I grinded all the way to the MiG MLD with it. I mean, that's just how great it is. To me, anyways. You can try the Su-25 if you want to grind with it. I don't suggest it. The MiG-21S. If you are a fan of MiGs, and you love dogfighting, and you love slapping people with the crappiest radar missiles there are, I'd say go for it. You have no flares, so that's a warning. And you're at 9.7, so you're at that right, may as well call it 10.0. You're going to see a lot of missiles, but you are stupidly fast for what it is. All right, we'll hop out of there. Sorry if I'm going a little bit quick. I'm trying not to blow my nose on mic. And I'm literally dying from pollen inhalation just from the drive home from work. Germany. First nation I started grinding. And holy crap, all we had for air was the MiG-21 SPSK. And this was good. It's not so good anymore. I wouldn't recommend buying it if you're strictly wanting to grind the German air tree. Tornado IDUS. You take a setup with 5 1,000-pound bombs, just enough fuel to get there. You have 2 usable missiles, get 2 AIM-9Ls, and the guns are kind of decent. And you get some large countermeasures. If you cut them in half, you get like 8 or 9 pops, maybe a little bit more than that, to flare and chaff. Or just run straight up large caliber flares and hug the ground and try to get away from radar missiles. You'll generally get to a base before others if you take the right amount of fuel and a single set of 5,000-pound bombs to take out a base. If you want to just brain dead, sit back, relax, bomb bases, make a ton of SL, I'd put this either number 2 or 3 behind the Kfir Canard as far as bombing goes to get bases and SL. And if you want to have fun grinding it, the MiG-21 Lizard, it's a MiG-21. You get it Tech Tree, it's right over here. It's the SAU. Same exact loadout and everything. You get 6 R60Ms and decent gun. It is MiG-21 with the 23 millimeter guns that have that droopy shot. You have to use inverted aim on it. It does get countermeasures. It's very fast. It's very agile. And I've killed many Phantoms with it. All the, the American Phantom that they have out now, the F4s, yeah. If you do it right, you can knock them out of the sky. This is only the 2 choices for grinding air. That's just my opinion. I enjoy the Tornado for grinding. It will make everything trivial. And you'll have a buttload of SL. If you want to have fun doing it and take a bit longer, go with the MiG-21. I love the MiG-21s. They are probably some of the best dogfighters in the game. Personal opinion again. That's just me. Army, before I skip that. Alrighty. So this is a bit of a mixed bag for me. The TAM2P is really good. You can run it by itself at 9.0 and generally pick up enough kills to grind through stuff relatively quickly. The Leopard A1A1 is a very old premium, Gen 1 thermals. It's a Leopard A1A1. You get it in the tech tree. Still a very fun tank. I enjoy it. I'd say for the ease of BR, I'd get the TAM2P and the Terms 3, or Term 3, and run those two together and just laugh at people. And hey, if you picked up the mouse, I'm not bringing as a backup. The Leopard is a very good tank. You need to know where to go on maps to utilize it. Treat it like a sniper, in all honesty, or go base cap with it. You're very fast. Backs up very fast, has decent amount of smoke. Like most other things in this BR, you're one shot. So generally most things will point and click you and you're dead, but you point and click most things. So I'd honestly say if you like the top tier stuff, play that premium black hole that's the 10.0 area, go for the Leopard 2. If you want a little bit more laid back grinding and more enjoyable, I'd say get the TAM2P if it's still for sale, and the Term 3. And you can take a whole 8.3 lineup. I mean, there's not a whole lot in there, but see here, that. The 8.0 stuff's still really good. Get a Martyr, a little IFV. Yeah, take some neat stuff with it. That's my personal opinion on it. That's all there really is for German ground. The Vilcus, if you want to pick it up, it's kind of fun. It has fire and forget missiles like the Tiger Hut, but they're kind of angled, so a little weird to use them. Hit or miss. On to the next one. All right, we started out with ground. So I went ahead and picked up a bunch of ground junk. XM1 used to be 9.0. This was actually a really good tank. It has APCR instead of a dart. Works perfectly fine. Has no smoke though, so you have to bring smoke rounds. Very good tank, very fast. It gets sucked up a lot to 10.0 because it's 9.3. But when you get it down to your equal tier, it's a really good tank, in my opinion. The best way to grind America, I'm going to go ahead and say this right now, is the 10.3 area. Yep. It's a lot more manageable. It is a lot more manageable. Even just taking the wolf pack and the M1, not even worry about the rest of it. You can do well and grind, relatively quickly. And I just play for fun with the American tree. Eventually I will hardcore grind it. If you want to go to top tier, and believe me, 11.3 may as well be 11.7, and it is a huge difference in the tanks. Like, that 0.4 BR difference is massive. You get the clickbait, and you can get a helicopter, which is actually not that bad of a combination. You get Hellfires and thermals. You can sit back and launch missiles. I prefer to take the A6E Tram for trolling people on the ground with guided bombs. M1A1 AIM, if you want to research that. I'm still grinding through the stockness of it. It sucks so bad. M1A1, it's a point click. It doesn't feel as good as the other tanks at that tier, but it is a premium and it is literally called clickbait. You were just getting in M1A1. So I decided to pick everything up to try to grind the American tree. The main thing to remember is the win rate of American players at top tier is extremely low right now. Not necessarily because of how the tanks play, but it's the player base. So I'm sorry to American mains. Personal opinion on it. Aviation, let's go here. Without a doubt, hands down, it's going to be the F4S. Yep. Take a rocket loadout, take a bomb loadout. Take 4 radar missiles. If you want to take the AIM-9Hs, you can. They're not all aspect. You can actually drop these and lose some weight. Bomb bases, rocket bases, you can swap these out for the Mighty Mouse. And you have to swap out for a gun, which I do suggest to bring it. Basically, you want to rocket bases. That's the quickest way to get RP in this thing. Then go get a couple of kills with it. It has a 19-kilometer helmet mount display. It has the Agile Eagle upgrade, so it's the best of the Phantoms that you can get, but is very weight dependent, including your fuel and your loadout. So you can take just enough rockets to hit a base, or just enough bombs, then bring 8 missiles, or bring 4 radar missiles, and enough to get a base or 2 with your rockets and bombs. Play it how you will. A lot of people, there's a spam of this, and a lot of those players just not good with it, and there's some really amazing people with it. But for the most part, they're almost free kills. A6E got booted up to 10.3. Don't suggest it anymore. Used to be able to take, let's see what the loadout was. I'll still have it. Yeah, you could take 3 AIM-9Ls in a flare pod and just never worry about enemy missiles. And it was almost 3 guaranteed kills. They're all aspect. 30G missiles. They were hilarious. You can still rocket bases and stuff, but you're just slightly faster than the A10. An A10's same thing, get 2 free kills with the missiles if you can lock them. In all honesty, I think the AV8 is the best bet. This will grind you all the way through rank 6 and 7. At that point, you can probably just talisman like an F111 and go bombing and get the rest of this knocked out relatively easily. Why do I say the AV8A? It has a ton of countermeasures for where it's at. You can take some rockets, you can take some bombs. I prefer the countermeasures, 7 extra bomb in there. You can get almost 2 free kills. Granted, you're not the fastest thing in there, but these missiles, the AIM-9Gs, actually do work pretty well for it. You have some decent guns on it. If you want to get a full base, just take out 5 incendiary bombs, and that's guaranteed base. But for the amount of countermeasures that it has, especially in a down tier, you can really derp on people, and that really requires you to fly up high, and you've got enough chaff that if somebody doesn't have radar missiles, you can get away from them. I don't suggest the F-20A. Stay away from that at all costs. That's like the M1A1 clickbait. They are literally testing out to see how many people will buy this with how terrible it is. It's an F5 at 12.0 with an F18 engine in it. That's all it is. You're at a BR where you're getting slapped with AIM-9Ms, R27Rs, just the best of the best, and you don't have the best of the best. You get 6 9Ls, or you get some AIM-7Fs. If we understand, the radar's not that good on it. And there's really not too many people with them. You're just about 1 or 2 a game. So good job on you guys for doing that. Alrighty, I think I've talked myself out enough right there. So tell me what do you guys think? What's your opinions? What do you use to grind with? What would you suggest for new players joining the game if they were to pick up something to grind with, to go with? Now, the biggest thing before in the video here, it's going to be premium time. Every 6 months or so, Gaijin has a sale. And for like $30, you get half a year of premium. That's going to be the quickest way to grind. And if you add a premium account or premium account on top of a premium vehicle, you're going to grind a good bit faster. Not so much in ground because the RP down there is insanely low. In air, you can literally get a top tier jet in 2 weekends of playing. A couple hours every other day here and there during the week. And just brain dead grind on the weekends and get yourself into some pretty cool jets. I'm still proud of myself for all the jets I've grinded out. And I love this thing. I just love the skin on it. Right now, it's my favorite top tier. I'm still going to say it's not as good as Russia. The Su-27, nope, wrong one, is still the king of air, in my opinion. You get 4 of the best radar missiles in the game. If you do it right, you can pick up 3 kills before you get killed. You can get some aces with it. That's my opinion there. But until next time, guys, tell me your thoughts. What's going on? Let me know. You will see me playing my Russian ground forces a lot. So go ahead. Like I said, if you see me in game, give me a shout out, say hey. We'll go from there. Until next time, guys, y'all have a good one. Sorry if it's a different video. I know a lot of people may not have liked it, but just want to give you my opinion on that because people are always commenting on the premium. So I use them to grind with. And when I don't want to worry about losing SL, I just pop into the premiums and point and click. Until next time, guys, you have a good one.